Hello everybody, how are we all? I'm very well, thank you for asking. Bit of an early one. Yes, I'm going to be on with Kristi and Rob talking about American politics, so we're doing a slightly earlier one. But yeah, hello there everyone. How are we all? If you enjoy my streams, then why wouldn't you? You can hit the follow button, you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, you can give subs to the community, you can do bits messages. If you're on YouTube, you can become a member. You can do super chats. These are things. Anyway, so I'm going to jump into the chat with Rob and Kristi and see what's a haps, basically.
You see your iPad. So I hand him my iPad and he goes into this back room and he just cleans it up for me, and that's all it needed. Hi, Kevin.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
How are we all?
So, I'm doing good. So Kimberly Fair is going to be late coming in. She's going to be coming in at 12:30. So we can get started, and whatever she misses, we'll just get her up to speed.
Okay.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm alive, and that's important.
Yes.
How are you?
So, Kristi, I just want to say sorry for your loss.
It's my friend's loss, but it's just
but it's a death.
What happened?
Sorry to hear that.
What happened? What?
You remember? Do you? Well, I don't know. I guess we're being recorded right now, so maybe Kevin, can I just tell you off air?
No.
It's not.
I need to know
Yeah.
now so that everyone, it's your friend's loss is broadcast to the world.
Yeah, so I'll just I'll say I'll get in touch. I'll write to you because you might vaguely remember this person, but yeah, somebody I know had somebody who passed.
Oh,
I'll just
okay.
say that. So yeah,
Well, yeah, DM me. Slide into my DMs.
yeah, we'll do.
That's the kind of DMs I get from girls. Sliding in there to tell me about bereavements I might be aware of. Rock and roll.
Okay, so let's get started. This is sounding alarm. I'm Rob DeRusso. I had a really good Saturday because Saturday is Star Wars Day, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I remember seeing Star Wars in the theater in 1977 when I was 5 years old, and I went to Star Wars trivia. I came in fourth place. This kid who had Asperger's actually beat all of us. So the kid's really smart. I'm not making fun of him for having Asperger's. I'm just saying his mother came up to me and told me that her son has Asperger's, and this kid came in first place.
Yeah.
And I've been a lifetime fan.
Yeah. Well, look, I really like Star Wars as well. I mean, honestly, I really respond to the Emperor and the darkness in that character. He represents me and my political approach to the world, which is
Oh, really?
fuck,
Well, you know
fuck
the Emperor's
everyone.
evil,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know the Emperor's evil, right?
Well, that's what the libs want to tell you. That's what the SJWs say, but actually he's a misunderstood genius who just wants the best for the people.
Yeah, so Kevin, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
The one where Will Smith punches the alien.
Okay, I'm being serious, Kevin. Come on.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I can watch the Star Wars movies, but I'm not a massive fan. I suppose the first one, just because it was vaguely original at that point, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, well, mine's The Empire Strikes Back. I go back to the old trilogy.
Right.
What about you, Kristi?
I would probably be on the side of Kevin. I mean, I know that a lot of people like the second one, and there is a lot to be said because it ends on a kind of, the fifth one if you're going in order, but the original, the fourth, A New Hope, was a kind of like the Matrix of its day in terms of how it changed cinema, because before that you were really still in the era of like after World War II and and westerns and whatnot, and it was a space western, but it also had elements of Japanese filmmaking in it too. But I think someone said it best. Before Star Wars, the week before Star Wars came out, he and his friends were still sort of like playing cops and robbers in the neighborhood, and after Star Wars came out, they were all playing Star Wars.
Yeah, I used to play with the action figures when I was a kid. And I'm just looking into buying a lightsaber because I really want one, but that's going to cost me some money. So,
what's your favorite one, Rob?
My
favorite
Star Wars movie? I already answered that. The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's between 1 and 2 for me. I think.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I remember being in the theater with my dad in 1980 when that movie came out. And I remember when the Power Vader says to Luke, "No, I'm your father," my jaw dropped. Like, it dropped.
So one of the kids in the neighborhood saw the movie before we did, and they said, "Oh, there's a big surprise." I'm like, "What is it?" And they're like, "You want to see it in the movie?" I'm like, "And this was me. I never."
Yeah, he's right.
I was like, "No, I can't wait." And yeah, spoiler alert: Darth Vader is Luke's father. And I remember just being stunned at 12 or whatever I was at the time. 8.
Yeah.
That was just blew my mind. So I didn't see. I kind of got a spoiler, but I asked for it because I couldn't wait to see it in cinemas.
Can I adapt my answer? My favorite Star Wars movie is Clerks, where they have the discussion about the ethics of killing the private contractors on the Death Star. I think that's
Kevin,
for me.
I know what you're talking about. Independent contractors.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, the first thing I want to talk about with you guys is, I don't know if you guys are animal lovers, but I'm pretty upset about this. South Dakota governor Kristi Noem shot her puppy in the face.
Yeah, talking of people who really aspire to be Emperor Palpatine, shooting puppies in the head and goats, naturally, and arguing that the current sitting president's dog should also be killed.
Yeah, apparently just shooting animals is her solution to everything.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'll be honest with you, is not the way to fix the budget of South Dakota.
Nope.
So I don't know that that's a winning strategy for her. Also,
I take a bit of
why
issue
is
with-
she? I presume she's just doubling down on this now because she's such a toxic, cancerous figure that she
Yep.
knows she cannot be vice president. So just lean into it, and that's your USP now. I'm the dog murderer, you know.
So let me ask you guys a question. Isn't it a felony to murder an animal? Because I will even be abuse an animal. Because I know Trump, only one good thing Trump did was he made it a felony if you abuse an animal. You know, animal cruelty.
I
So
don't
why-
remember that. That would be it would seem to me that would be a state law. One, there's a statute of limitations. I have a feeling. I think this all happened long before she was governor. So one, there's a statute of limitations. Two, felony animal cruelty has, I'm sure, certain kinds of standards, and they vary by state. So
I could have sworn Trump did that.
They don't put people in prison for killing humans. So like they're not going to do it for like dogs or goats or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know how I don't know how Trump could possibly unilaterally make something a felony. I mean, that
Well, I
would
don't think
obviously
he laterally
need
did
to
it. I
come
think
from legislation.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been Trump that did it. It would have been like legislation that he signed. But
But
I
he
can't
didn't-
think of a single.
Yeah. That's his biggest. The best thing you can say about Trump is he didn't veto the concept of allowing dog murder.
Yeah, and also there just seems to me like federal felony. You're going to go to federal prison for killing a dog because Congress only deals with federal laws and federal prisons. So again, this just seems to me like it would be a state level issue.
Well, maybe it's a state level issue, but I'm pretty sure he made it a felony. Hey,
So
I
it's
could be
states'
mistaken,
rights.
but that's
States'
just what I
rights,
heard.
okay?
I think you need to look that up, Rob.
Well,
I'm
hang
going to
on,
press
let
X
me
to
look
doubt.
it up. Let me
Press-
look it up. Hang
press
on.
X to doubt.
Look, it's a states' rights issue, dog murder. That's what the Civil War was all about. A states' rights to decide
Yeah.
about dog murder. God.
Because I don't want to, spread false information, especially on my
Exactly.
own.
That's what we
especially
get
on my own.
Kevin's chat to fact check us quite often if we speak out of turn. And believe
Well,
me, they
you
pull us
do.
up on shit all the time.
You do. I don't give a fuck. Shut up.
They pull you
chat.
up on shit all.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right,
But I don't want them
President
to.
Trump- hold on, guys. President Trump signs federal animal cruelty bill into law.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Kristi.
Yeah, no, please read. Okay, so he
All right,
signed a
well,
bill. Okay, yeah.
Let me click on the link here. The bill called the Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act makes intentional acts of cruelty to animals federal crimes, carrying penalties up to 7 years in prison. All right, so he did sign something into
Yeah.
law. He
Yeah.
did sign something into
I
law.
stand corrected.
It's
I just don't
okay,
understand why that. I mean, it's nice. I just don't know if that's the greatest use of federal prison resources. But
well,
I mean,
at least he did something good. You got to give him credit for that.
yeah, he didn't veto it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, so I wasn't spreading misinformation. Good for me.
Well,
Indeed.
he signed a bill Congress passed, so it was everyone got involved. Yeah.
If this is a crime, why is she not arrested? Maybe you said statutes of limitations.
Yeah, I imagine that would
learn
be-
about this in her book.
I would suggest it's probably because you can't retroactively apply that law.
Yep.
Like you can't, if the law is passed after the thing takes place, it can't apply to the thing. It's actually,
Oh, that's too bad.
yeah. Well, not really, because it basically stops the federal government from, or any government from, like persecuting people for things that they didn't know were wrong. There's a fantastic example.
Well, how is
of...
murdering a puppy not a wrong thing? Come on.
No, Rob. No. Rob, you're talking about legality, not morality
Right.
here.
Okay,
In terms of
all right.
legality, that's But there's a fantastic example of the non-retroactive applicability of law from Britain. There was a thing called the Serious and Organised Crime Prevention Act, which sounds very serious and usually is. It's to tackle like mafia level stuff. But they threw in a little cheeky thing in the middle there that said you had to get permission from the authorities to protest in the environs of Parliament, so basically central London. And it was done to get rid of one person who was a protester, an anti-Iraq war protester called Brian Hawes, who was in Parliament Square for years. I mean, he was there for like 6, 7, 8 years, constantly. And his lawyers argued in court that the law didn't apply to him because he started that and was an ongoing, contiguous protest since before the law was made into a law, and therefore they couldn't retroactively apply it. So the one person the law was introduced to try and get rid of was the one person it did not apply to in the entire country.
I see.
Genius.
Okay.
All
I
right,
love
so I can't exactly figure out what year this happened, but she did say at the time her children were in school. And I don't know how old her kids are now.
Oh, okay. She's not even homeschooling. What a communist.
Yeah. A bad day to be a goat.
Yeah,
Again, that was Guardian reported that in a chapter titled "Bad Day to Be a Goat," no one recounted her decision to kill a dog and a goat. But it's really difficult to find out. I know because she said in there that. Oh wait. Okay. Noem initially responded that, quote, tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm, unquote, and subsequently said the incident occurred 20 years ago.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
We can't do anything about that.
Wow, thank you, Wikipedia, the only place I could find that information.
So here's the thing. She shot that goat.
Ladies and gentlemen,
she didn't kill it, so she ran to her vehicle to get more ammunition and finish the goat off.
Yep.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Cruelty is a point with these MAGA people.
Yeah.
And I know what they're doing. They're trying to, see who can be the most despicable person in each one's VP.
Yeah. But even I think this is too much, because this is like, they want you to be evil, but they want you to just be evil to like poor people or brown people. They don't want you to be evil to animals. Animals are like treated better than most humans, it seems, in America, or thought of as worth more.
Well, I love animals, and I don't want to see animals get hurt.
No, I don't want to see them get hurt either. But the point is, with the GOP, they want you to be cruel, but just not to animals. You know?
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? Here's brings me to my next point is Trump is already saying he won't accept the results of the presidency. Of the election. He's already saying that he's not going to accept the results. Does this surprise anyone?
No. He still hasn't accepted the first lot of results.
Yep.
Like, he's a freak. He can't accept loss because he's a emotionally crippled narcissist who can't deal with the fact that sometimes things don't go your way in life. It's just a fact. Tough shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching the news last night, and Kristi Noem was on being interviewed, and she claims that she went to North Korea to meet with Kim Jong-un. I mean, this woman never went to North Korea. She's lying. I mean, they already proved this on the news that she's lying about this.
Mm. Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Although interestingly, Trump of course did go to North Korea, didn't he? When he really shouldn't have. When he crossed the border that time. Very
strange. He was looking for ideas on how to run America.
True.
So,
although maybe that's the thing. Maybe Kristi Noem had heard the racist connotation towards Korean people about dogs and thought that seems like the place for me. Maybe. I don't know.
So this kind of scares me. Like, is there any way if he even does get reelected, we can stop him from being a dictator? I mean, doesn't he have to take an oath to the Constitution to defend and uphold the Constitution? How are we going to stop him if he becomes elected?
You won't.
Well,
here's the thing: even if you try to take him to the Supreme Court, it would take forever. And look at what they're like. What happens if the president just ignores what the Supreme Court says? The Supreme Court doesn't have any enforcement ability.
What's
Congress
going on with
would
the immunity case.
Congress. They heard oral arguments, and stay tuned on Friday because we're going to have Marcus Drake on Kevin's channel to talk more about how that went. But I mean, honestly, like if the president chooses not to follow the ruling of the Supreme Court, and Congress won't do anything about it because let's say the Republicans have the House, what can be done?
Oh, you mean like Abraham Lincoln did? He did very briefly defy the Supreme Court. Anyway. In terms of stopping a duly elected American president, Lee Harvey Oswald had an interesting way of going about it.
Kevin.
What?
Partner push 2024.
I don't know. Look, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying he had an interesting and ultimately effective approach. Is all I'm saying.
If you were in the United States, you'd have Secret Service banging on your door.
He's not directing that at anyone.
Oh, I know he's not.
Look, I assume that MI5 have bugged my entire house I assume that that's the case, which is why I always leave my webcam on whilst masturbating. I assume they're watching. I want them to watch. Dirty bastards. Partner push.
Yeah, exactly.
There's something else I want to talk about. I'm gonna have to skip over because I want Kim to be here when we talk about this. So I'm gonna skip over this one until Kim comes back. But as far as this trial is going with the hush money thing, I believe Trump is still getting special treatment. He has violated this gag order 10 times now, and the judge keeps on finding him. And the judge just recently said to him, do this again, and we're going to put you in jail, which I don't know why he hasn't done yet, but go ahead, Kristi.
Apparently, Trump put up something on Truth Social and deleted it 30 minutes later because I think his lawyer said, take that the fuck down. And that happened today. So he might actually be afraid of jail now.
What did he...
We'll see.
What do we know what he put up? Because that would be interesting.
Yeah, they kind of read it out on MSNBC, which covered it briefly, and I was watching that just before we came on air. It was mostly just attacking the judge. I didn't actually hear anything that was specific about the jurors or any of the witnesses, but apparently it was only up for 30 minutes before it was taken down. So,
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, I would like to know what it is. I mean, they didn't specifically say what it was.
Did he post hog on Maine?
Yeah, but as I said, I can tell you what what's his name read out on MSNBC. It was mostly attacks on the judge.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, that seems like you're not complying with the fucking gag order then.
He's allowed to attack the judge based on the gag order and Alvin Bragg. Those are the two people he can attack.
Oh, is
So
that
I wasn't
right?
quite sure why it got deleted, but unless you can find someone with the Wayback Machine who took a screenshot, somewhere online, I don't have it memorized, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, but he's not allowed to attack jurors or witnesses, and that's what he's been doing over 10 times. As a matter of fact, I started a petition, and Kristi, you probably already know about this. I started a petition to throw Trump in jail. Unfortunately, it didn't go very far. I think I got like 87 signatures.
John Wilkes Booth, he also had an approach.
Wait, what?
Just a callback. I'm just saying.
We're still on the presidential assassinations?
Whoa, who said assassinations? I didn't say assassinations. Who's saying that?
No,
I'm just saying.
Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth.
Was it? Well, okay. I mean, some people would say assassination. Some people would say he slipped. He just slipped. And
He
it was an
gave him
accident and that.
he fanned out his brains. They put a little breeze through him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He
but
just,
Abraham Lincoln was a good president. That's too bad what happened.
Abraham Lincoln was a genuinely amazing president who took America through probably the most difficult period it will ever face. Yeah, and I'm obviously joking. No one should kill presidents.
You know what's funny? Is
I'm
Not
being-
a president, technically.
You know what's funny is Trump.
Well,
said that
okay,
he
but
had-
Former
the
presidents.
joke was if he gets elected, how do we stop him? So at that point, he
yeah.
would be a sitting president. Checkmate,
Oh.
checkmate, pedant.
Trump said that he's had it worse than any other president. Like, really?
Yeah,
Like, okay,
4 of them got-
JFK got shot.
Yeah, 4 got killed. Reagan got fucking shot in the gut and never really recovered. Like, come on now.
Abraham Lincoln got shot. How have you had it worse than any other president? Why? Because you're being held accountable?
So it's okay for you to bring up him getting assassinated, but I can't.
Well, he's
What's
on
going on
fire
here?
today, isn't he? With all his jokes.
Well, okay. When you were saying he's on fire today, I thought you were suggesting that Abraham Lincoln had gone to hell.
All right, is this turning into a comedy show?
I'm sorry. I just that's where it went. He's on fire today because he was evil and went down to the pit of fire. Which is
Wow,
is harsh. Like, I
Kristen,
mean, he made some
he has
mistakes,
jokes
but
today, huh?
that's too much. That's too much.
He's got jokes today.
It's Kristi. She's a bad influence.
I'm a terrible influence. This is what I deal with every week, Rob. Like every time I'm on with Kevin, he's always like, basically, there's a reason he got demonetized. He won't get me made. That was a partner push joke. He constantly pushes away his opportunities to make partner by his commitment to edgy jokes.
Gil
Hey, I
O'Toole
think they're funny
donated
to be honest with
$3.
you. I think they're
Well,
very
yeah,
I'd
they're
like to
funny,
state
but
for the
they're not
record, I am opposed to
monetizable.
American gun culture. Anyway, Partner
Twitch
Push
is a little bit,
2024.
yeah, gun shy.
I'm a firm believer that this $1,000 bullshit is not deterring Trump.
No, everybody is. I mean, that's pretty.
No, of course
And
not.
here's
It's,
the
I think
thing.
it's just $1,000 of his stupid fans' money. He doesn't care.
Well, that's why when the judge said next time it's blah, 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 it's prison, and then he, like he actually took down a tweet today.
Yeah.
So apparently, well, yeah, it was speculated they might
Well,
have
that's-
someone at the law firm
yeah.
who just sits around and watches his account on Truth Social
Like
and
a
tells the attorney.
babysitter. Jesus Christ. Well, did you see his amazing flex this week? Where he picked up a pen from the floor and the
he
crowd
bent over?
The crowd cheered and he went, "Can you imagine Joe Biden picking up a pen?" And I thought to myself, the American empire is over. If that's the qualification to become president, that you can pick up a pen from the ground, if that gets a round of applause at a fucking presidential nomination speech, it's over. It's over.
Oh, honestly, they would applaud him for farting, and they probably have. Because apparently he farts a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait for Kim to come in so we can talk about this thing I saw that is absolutely freaking nuts. I don't want to discuss it right now because I want Kim's view on this. But it's really nuts. Like if I was to even tell you guys right now, you guys would think I was making this up and I'm joking, and sadly I'm not even joking about this.
What is it? Give us.
I guess I could tell you about it, but I'm not going to go too much into it.
Yeah, give us a teaser.
I saw a video. I saw a video about a week ago where this guy, he was in a high-speed chase with the cops, and the cops finally caught him, and he was literally praying to Trump to help him. Like praying to God, he was praying to Trump. I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
Yeah, they're a cult. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Yeah. You had it during the thing, like the famous footage of that woman crying, going, "Please, President Trump, help us."
Oh my God, she was unhinged. I was actually laughing over that video. I thought that was the funniest thing. I was cracking up.
Well, I made a series called the Trump Copium compilations where I put her in there.
Yeah, I saw that video before
front and
you
center.
did your thing.
Yeah.
But she was nuts. Like she was, and I see some earlier videos of her where she was so cocksure that Trump was gonna win.
Well, they're doing that again. He'll definitely win. And then when he doesn't win, oh, it's rigged. Well, if it's rigged, why did you bother running? Like Trump still says, if Trump thinks if that first election was, or the second election, the 2020 was stolen, why would you run again?
Yeah, and also if the election was rigged, why wouldn't the Democrats run everything? Why, if you're going to rig an election, why would you rig the House and the Senate, or the White House and the Senate, but not the Congress?
Everybody was on the same ballot. Everybody was on the same ballot.
Exactly. So if they were going to rig it, why wouldn't they rig it everywhere so that Democrats controlled everything? Which they didn't, clearly, because that's not how the election turned out. The Republicans won the House, so it makes no sense. I would love to hear a so-called, like MAGA cultish expert on election fraud explain that little conundrum of reality.
Look, Smartmatic Systems moves in mysterious ways. It is not for us to question why. Okay? Fact.
Well, this kid that basically did the video about the Trump supporter praying to Trump, he's the same person. He's a Gen Z kid. He's about 21 years old. He actually interviewed he debated Mike Lindell about this election fraud bullshit.
But this is the beautiful thing. What's to debate? They had a chance to show their evidence in courtrooms, and they couldn't do anything. So there's no debate.
Mike Lindell is still going around saying the election was rigged, and he has proof.
He's back on the crack. Like he's gone.
Show me the convictions. Show me the convictions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's been 60 court cases that have all said the election was not stolen.
Well, yeah, they had plenty of evidence, and they could provide a non-zero amount of evidence.
And I hear anybody who wants to work for Trump and the Trump administration, if Trump gets elected, they have to all say the election was rigged.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because I mean, it's a cult. You can't have anyone telling the truth, and that brings a. And the thing is, it's in the same way that it actually backfires for him to use this tactic. In the same way in 2020 when he said he was against voting mail-in ballots, it just suppressed his own vote because those that would have voted via mail-in ballot that then didn't trust the system didn't vote in significant numbers, which then meant that you had the situation where they'd count all the regular ass votes, and then it would be relatively tight, and then Biden would win the mail-in ballots by like 80-20.
Can I make everyone nauseous? Because as I was looking on my phone, to like check something, the Midas Touch has this coming up in my feed, which is
Ben Marcellus.
Yeah, it's a picture taken of a quote from MSNBC because they're like live tweeting or live posting the thing. So this was at 11:18 a.m. Stormy Daniels' testimony.
I was
Daniels
just going to bring that up later.
If she doesn't use the phrase Yeti pubes, I don't want to know.
Daniels on Trump. He said, quote, "You remind me of my daughter. She's smart and beautiful and people underestimate her as well," before having sex with her.
And then he stuck his penis into her.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my fucking god, he's a
exactly. Yeah.
Fucking disgusting. What an absolute creature. Really.
He said this more than once. He said it several times he would fuck his own daughter, which is
That's disgusting.
He's one of genuinely a grotesque. I don't even want to say human because that would mean I'm the same species, and I don't want to have to admit that.
Share that genetic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, you know what? I renounce my human status if that's true.
I think what I kind of thought for a while that David was his hero in the Bible. Now I'm realizing it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a Bible joke for you.
His daughters.
Exactly, that's the joke.
It's so gross. It's so fucking gross. Oh. And the family values people and the QAnon people are going to vote for him. Oh, yeah. What an absolute joke. You lack all principles. You couldn't give a shit about the kids. You don't give a shit about family values. He's cheated on all of his wives and he wants to fuck his daughter, who he gave a job that she's not qualified for in his administration as well. Therefore, putting US interests at stake as well. Like, every part of his candidacy is fucked.
Yes, and repulsive.
Yeah. And he was best friends with Epstein. Joking about how he liked them young. Almost as young as me. Like, what?
Yeah, but wasn't Bill Clinton also friends with Epstein?
Yeah, put that prick in jail too. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, you don't like Bill Clinton, huh?
No, I've got, that's no comment on his presidency. I'm saying if you were friends with Jeffrey Epstein, you knew the fuck was going on. You knew what was going on. At the very least, you were passively okay with it. Get the fuck in the jail cell. All of you. Yeah. Like, you can... Look, if someone just took a flight, okay, maybe you could sneak past. But if you know the motherfucker for years, if he attended your wedding and stuff, like, you know what was going down there. Come on.
Oh, I've got more on the trial. This is Daniel said that when Trump showed her a photo of Melania, she said she was beautiful. He said not to worry, quote, "We don't even sleep in the same room," unquote.
I heard it earlier.
And then in court, Trump shook his head and muttered something to his legal team as she said this. He appears increasingly irritated as she testifies.
Yeah. Because it's admitting the incestuous, pederastic freak that he is. Yeah.
I have we have Thursday off because I've got 4 state holidays this month because I live in a Catholic state here in Germany. So we've got all these random Catholic holidays off this month. And I would really like to get the PDFs of the testimony. Like I would think, okay, this is like a nerd thing I would do. But I think it would be interesting to have like Speechify read out the PDF of like the Pecker testimony and Cross and basically just like get, because we can't hear the trial, right? We can't get access to the trial except through media notes and these PDFs. So having these exchanges like where people could listen to them and listen and hear it for themselves rather than as through, a third party account on the media would be useful. I mean, it would be very time consuming, but it would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, after that Trump stuff, like, I don't know that my jokes about Lee Harvey Oswald are that out of order. Like, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying, it's not. It doesn't even seem like it's that crazy anymore.
You know, I was on Truth Social one time, and I said that Putin deserves a bullet in the head, and all these Trump supporters got pissed off at me for saying that. I'm like, really? I'm not threatening the president. I'm saying Putin deserves a bullet in his head because he does.
Yeah.
And I have a friend of mine who comes from England, just like you, Kevin.
Oh,
he
condolences to that person.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
I said condolences to that person.
Yeah, well, he messaged me yesterday and is trying to convince me I need to be more worried about Vladimir Putin than I do Trump. And I'm like, no. Like, I linked him a video yesterday telling him this guy wants to be a dictator. He said it out loud. It's not a dog whistle anymore. It's a fucking bullhorn.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think that... I don't really separate out Putin and Trump. I don't see them as massively different, in all honesty.
Okay, we have to say hi to Kim because she is my co-host. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Rob. Sorry I'm late. How are you?
Good. So we're going to get you up to speed on what we're talking about. Kristi, you want to just tell what we've been talking about?
Presidential
Lots of stuff.
assassinations.
No, I don't. Lots of stuff. I think you should just jump into the conversation. We've been covering a range of
you know what? I'm good. I can jump right in. You guys
Okay.
start, and I'll jump in.
Okay, what's your opinion of Lee Harvey Oswald?
Oh, wonderful person.
Yeah.
So Kim,
Great guy.
Kim, earlier we talked about Kristi Noem killing her puppy.
Oh, okay, so I need to at least tell you up front, guys, that I've only been getting bits and pieces of what's going on with Trump in the regular world right now because I am following this case, Rob, as you know, Karen Reed case, like it's my job. So I have been
Tell us all about
out
that.
of the loop a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been out of the loop.
Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I will tell you a little bit, but my recommendation is to Google Karen Reed and know that this is going to be a Netflix documentary that is going to blow any true crime documentary you've ever watched out of the water. Okay, this involves two lawyers, very prestigious lawyers. One is Alan Jackson, who is out of California and actually represented Kevin Spacey in his civil lawsuit a couple of years back.
Wow. So all the worst people. Awesome.
Yes, exactly. Oh, and I believe Harvey Weinstein, maybe.
Oh, God. Name your rapist.
So
All
these
of your
two
rapists.
lawyers are representing this woman who is reeks of white privilege. Actually did hit and kill her boyfriend with her vehicle, but is trying to frame other people for it now. And the district attorney of Massachusetts, who is Josh Levy, we believe is in on this conspiracy. It is out of control. And the trial just began last week, finally, after almost 2 years. And it is unlike anything I've ever seen. Unlike anything I've ever seen. And it's interesting to watch. And so I not only have been following it, but I have actually personally met with a couple of the witnesses who are being framed by this woman. And we're talking suburban white mom, her husband, her kids. It's atrocious. And so I advise if anybody is interested in any kind of true crime, this Karen Reed trial is unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to look into that, yeah.
Yeah, it's Rob, you've heard of it, correct?
Yeah, I see you post about it all the time. Matter of fact, I'm not trying to out you, Kim, because you know I love you. I've seen some posts that you posted today about certain people that have been harassing you, and I'm gonna honest with you, I'm getting fucking tired of these people going after you.
Oh, I know. It's awful. When you put yourself out there, as I'm sure you guys can attest to, Kristi, Tom. It's
Mhm.
Tom,
Yeah.
right? Kevin. Am
Kevin.
I right?
Kevin.
Yeah, just call him Tom.
Yeah, call me
Fucking
Tom.
hilarious.
It's not my name, but it would be awesome. Yeah, just call me Tom. Yeah.
What? I'm
So,
sorry. I'm sorry.
no. Someone called
can't-
him Keith once. Who
Keith.
called you
Yeah.
Keith? Oh, it was that fucking guy from the Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, the fascist guy. Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Which
what is your
completely
name?
different.
I feel so awful
No,
now.
My name's Tom.
It's Kevin.
It's Tom. It's Tom.
Oh, it is Tom.
With an H.
No, it's not. It's not actually Tom, but it is Tom.
Wait,
Kim, we
guys,
had him on the show before. Kim,
All right, I'm just gonna call you Peter.
Kim, we had him
Even
on
better.
The show before.
Oh, he loves penises, so that works.
Okay,
What?
maybe I'll even say it like this.
Well, you
Hey,
do.
Tom.
Hang
You
on.
love dick.
Imagine if I
Hey,
said that the
Tom,
other way round. Oh,
Kristi.
she loves a bit of cock. What the fuck? What's wrong with you?
You say that to me all the time.
Yeah, but that's you can say it about yourself, but other people say it.
I'm
Well, you
sorry.
also say penis. No, don't
You guys,
apologize.
I'm 52,
Really?
and my memory is not like it was when I
High
was
five.
30.
I'm 52 as well.
Wait, Kim, you're 52. I thought you were 38.
She only looks 38.
Yeah.
No, I seen her post on Facebook that she was 38. Unless that
Who?
was like an older picture or an older post.
Who? I'm sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear you, Rob.
Tom.
I said I thought you were 38.
No, actually, I lie about that. I'm actually really 36.
I'm 36.
Okay, so you're not 52.
No, I am 52, Rob.
You don't look it at all, sweetheart. You look way younger than that.
Well, these trolls are aging me, and I feel like I'm 72.
So, Kim, what I want to
Don't
talk
let
to
the
you
bastards
about,
grind you down.
Oh,
Kim.
they're just horrendous. Yes.
Kim, what I want to talk to you about is I sent you this video earlier. We talked about this earlier. I just want your view on this. Now we have MAGA supporters praying to Trump.
Yeah, well, haven't we always?
Like,
I
that's
mean, I've
nuts.
seen some memes where they've put Trump's face on or next to Jesus Christ or as Jesus Christ. So I've just assumed that they have been praying to Trump for a while now.
Yeah. There are a few as sacrilegious and just generally unpleasant as the supposedly religiously devout.
Right.
Help me, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I need your help.
Well, I will say I have a problem with organized religion anyway. So
Yeah.
when you throw Trump into the mix as being part of that organized religion, it just becomes even more obscene and more outrageous.
True.
So, Kristi mentioned earlier about Stormy Daniels testifying, correct, Kim, Kristi?
Yep.
How has she done, guys? I have to admit I haven't heard.
Well, she was testifying that Donald Trump, before they had sex, told her that he reminded her of his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah,
Yep.
there's something weird there anyway. There's something really off with Donald Trump, and that's not
Yes.
hyperbole. I'm not being like, oh, the guy's
Oh,
crazy.
no. He's a malignant narcissist.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And there's more in terms of he's some sort of sexual deviant.
Absolutely.
He, some of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. He's having sex with underage girls. He did. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody can deny that.
Yeah.
So right there's a problem. So nothing that comes out of his mouth anymore surprises me. Nothing.
Well,
And anything you tell me about him, I believe.
yeah. Honestly, of all the conspiracies that are out there, like if I had to say I believe in one particular conspiracy theory, I think the P-tape does exist. Honestly,
it exists.
I
It
have no
exists.
doubt it, or at least it did exist. Maybe it's been captured and destroyed since, but there's no doubt. I think that doesn't come from nowhere. I think that's a real thing.
I 100%. That's more than smoke. There
Yeah.
was a fire lit, and I think somebody threw water on it. But I'm telling
Yeah.
you right now, you're right. That doesn't come. That's too. I could see them saying he got caught in a room with 6 people, or an
Yeah.
orgy, whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole P thing,
Yeah.
that adds another whole layer to it that you just can't make up.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Kevin, can I ask you a question? Do you think this is something that's Putin has on him that where Trump is now like compromised?
Well, I think Putin probably knows about it. Like I say, I don't know if the tape exists anymore or whether it did or whatever. But I think he knows it at least did exist, and Trump knows it did exist, and so he and his sort of surrogates are putting that out there as a kind of shot across the bows to Trump. Because maybe Trump doesn't even know if it still exists or not, or doesn't know if he has access to it. So he's basically saying, you know, watch yourself because I could destroy you, basically.
Yeah. I have a feeling it doesn't exist anymore because honestly, at this point, don't you think somebody
You'd think so,
would have
yeah.
put it out there?
Because, like, to be honest,
yeah,
because to be honest with you, like, it's not any more devastating, I think, than probably grab them by the pussy. Because at least in theory, the P tape is two consenting adults engaging in sexual congress, right? It's weird, but like it's not illegal or anything. Whereas him bragging about sexually assaulting women could and should have stopped his presidency in its tracks there before it even got going, you know?
Agreed. And you know what else I was thinking? At this point in time, is that P-tape anything now compared to what he has actually done?
Yeah.
I mean, January 6th, he has done so many horrible things. It's almost like the Clinton blowjob at this point. You know what I mean? It's
I think it's far worse than that.
You know, it's just like, okay. So
again, the blowjob was two consenting adults. I mean, technically he was married, but it's still two consenting adults, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
by the way,
I don't know. I just think he's done so much worse now that the P-tape is just okay, whatever, you know.
But to be honest with you, I'll just say it now. If it's out there and it comes out, I'm definitely watching it.
I think Kristi wants to say something.
Oh, it's okay. It's unrelated. It's just I had a moment of realization as to why. Okay, this is completely aside, right? But we're talking about skeezy men, and that's sort of the linking connection.
I hope that Trump reminded you of that and not me.
Oh no. It's definitely these sexual predators. Okay. I was like, how is it that you could have in the 10 Commandments in the Bible? Right? How is it that adultery is on that list and rape is not? And then I had to think about it from like a patriarchal, male-centric Bronze Age worldview. Yeah. And that's because men at that time wanted to rape women when they went out to attack other villages and other peoples.
Yeah.
So basically, it's basically we don't want to make rape a crime because we want to do that crime, but we have to have the bro code when it comes to our own women.
Yeah.
Yes. Never thought of it like that, Kristi.
Right?
I
need to make a video on that.
That's an excellent point. But also, why is the craven image thing there at all? Why, if you're going to make a top 10, why is that even there?
Yeah, it's pretty low ranking in my opinion.
Look, it wouldn't crack my top 100.
Nope.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
also, think of all the the artwork that you end up like not advancing because of that.
Yeah.
Right. And what if you're polygamous?
Sure.
Is that considered adultery? I mean, I don't know. It does. It seems antiquated, very antiquated and very ridiculous. And like you said, Kristi, you made a perfect point that it was because these men, these leaders, wanted to go out and have their way with whoever they wanted.
Yeah.
And not get in trouble for it. Yeah. But if you're married and you commit adultery, you're going to hell, you know? Yeah. So,
well, the woman is for sure.
Absolutely, the woman is, and then because the man couldn't help himself, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
True, but I look at it this way: I'm already wearing garments made of more than one cloth, so I'm already going to hell. So why not do adultery?
And have you eaten shellfish, Kevin?
I've eaten shellfish.
You go to hell, Kevin.
I've eaten various non-kosher. Did you know that camel is not considered kosher? Little fact for you. Camel meat.
Do people really eat camel?
That's gross.
Yeah, it's.
Hey, if I was hungry enough, I'd eat insects.
Yeah, if you're from a part of the world where camels are a thing and there's loads of
and
them,
available.
Yeah, it's good meat, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
People used to eat horses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
In France, cheval,
I'm so
which
sheltered.
is still a delicacy.
Do you not remember
Portsmouth.
Hamilton? Congress's rights, George, attack the British forces. I shoot back, we've resorted to eating our horses.
True.
Local merchants deny us that assistance. So yeah, that's it. And of course, after World War II, there's a particular dish I enjoy as roast beef. It's called Sauerbraten, but it's now roast beef that has been marinated for a very long time in vinegar, and then it has like a dark gravy on top of it. So it has this sort of sweet and sour, tangy,
The
and sweet
Germans
flavor.
are animals.
That sounds good, actually.
And well, yeah, but they had to soak it initially. It was made for horse meat, and you had to soak the horse meat in vinegar so long, to soften it because it was so tough.
That's
Actually,
what I was wondering. Is it
a friend of
tough
mine
meat?
ordered horse in Italy, and enjoyed it like about a decade and a half ago.
So
I
they
mean,
ordered the Italian stallion.
Yes, basically, yeah.
The Italian stallion. I need
Hey,
this
speaking
laugh.
of which,
I
I
needed
heard
this
there's
laugh.
going to be another Rocky movie, which I think is ridiculous. Was Sylvester Stallone going to come out with a walker in the ring or something?
Yeah, it's gonna have. What it's gonna in order to get into the ring, he's gonna have to have one of those like stair lifts for old people. Just go zzzz, just to get him into the ring. Yeah.
Oh, poor Sylvester.
I heard he's a Trump supporter too. And
Really?
didn't we talk about this one time where you posted on Facebook about celebrities that support Trump? Because I can name a few off the top of my head. I know Gary Busey, that guy's a nut job, by the way. He supports Trump. And, I used to be a big Godsmack fan, and Ken knows about this. I saw Godsmack 4 times in concert. Sully Erna from Godsmack is a Trump supporter.
I know, and now I can't listen to them anymore.
Kevin
Isn't that
Sor-
awful?
Kevin Sorbo. No.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a
he's
nut
a
job, too.
nightmare.
Oh
Oh,
God.
Kevin Sorbo's on Twitter, and oh my
Yeah, he's
God,
a freak.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a freak. He's, it's always these, I'm sorry to say this, but it's always these, most of them are like these B-list actors, like Scott Baio. What has he done?
Scott
Charles
Baio.
in charge.
Honestly, calling him B-list is a significant step up for Scott Baio. Scott Baio hasn't even been B-list
He's
since
more
like
like
1991 or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, it's so true. There was another one. It was this soap opera star. I can't. Antonio something.
No.
Anyway, huge Trump supporter. Used to have a crush on him when I was in my early 20s. Now I can't even look at him, because he's
John Voight is another one.
John
John
Voight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a
Goddamn.
nutter.
Yeah.
Well, it's all these angry white guys. A lot of these are just
Yes.
angry old white men.
Oh, what's the guy's name from Independence Day?
Oh, the one who rode the rock, Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
Another
Oh, he's
Quaid.
You should know that. You
Raging
had that on
man-child.
Copium videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Randy
I mean, he
Quaid
was-
is amazing.
He
He's
was
a
the
psycho.
crazy brother. He was the crazy brother to Chevy Chase in all the movies, and that's not far from the truth. He wasn't his roles.
Yeah, those
were-
roles were method acting for his current
Yes,
life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there are always these wacko white dudes that have nothing else in their life, I
Mhm.
guess.
They sit
know.
around on social media all day because they don't have real jobs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Roseanne Barr, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
another.
don't
She's
get me
started
basically
on
it.
her.
She's
Oh God.
God,
You know what
she's
She's a
Roseanne
pick
Barr
me.
said?
Oh.
She said that her medication makes her racist. Like, what?
yeah.
How does meds make you racist?
Race is a little. Yeah, it's consult your regular doctor if you're already suffering from the bigotry side effects. Yeah. Do
If
not.
your racism lasts for more than 4 hours, consult your doctor.
Exactly.
One thing
I better lay
hear-
off the Adderall because lately I've been targeting black people. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You know, lately I've been hearing Trump supporters say that Obama made people racist. First of all, nobody can make you racist. Racism is a taught thing that is learned.
Yeah.
Nobody can make you racist.
Right.
That's a choice you make in life.
Also, what did he do exactly that made, quote unquote, made these
It
people
was just
racist?
a black man who got elected president, and that's
Yeah.
what they don't like. Pretty
Well,
much.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I will have to say though that in terms of making somebody racist, I do believe though that if you are raised in a household,
Oh, yeah,
where
you're taught
racism
racism.
exists,
Mm.
yeah, you will learn racism that way. Although I have seen people, I have spoken with people who have been raised in racist households and been raised to be racist, and then somehow, by the grace of somebody, they learned this is not right. And they switch gears, which I always enjoy seeing, to be honest. I think that's really cool.
Hey, Kim.
Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook about how you went to a UPS store and this guy was being racist to this woman or something like that.
Yes, I posted that video. Did you see that?
Yes, I watched the whole thing. Kim, I watch everything you post on Facebook.
Well, it was my first experience with being, you always see videos of coffee shops or grocery lines, somewhere where somebody's being racist and customers speak out, or they don't speak out.
Yeah.
Well, I've always watched those videos, and all of a sudden I am ready to get my phone out because I'm about to experience it firsthand. And I was in this UPS store, and I had a package of clothes that I was sending to a friend who is very poor, to be honest, and needs them. So I had this package of $100 box of clothes that I was sending, and I was trying to get it organized. And this woman came in with papers, something to do with her taxes. So this was just before you had to turn your taxes in, which here is April 15th. And she's trying to hand them to this gentleman who was very, very nice. And he kept saying to her, "Ma'am, I've already told you, I can't."
Whoop, dropped out.
No, she's still Kim. You there? Hello, Kim.
Must have been a dropout on the line.
So anyway, what do we think about the assassination of McKinley?
Dude, we don't even know the guy's name? I don't
Yeah,
even
it
know
was
the name
some
of
crazy ass Hungarian name.
Oh. Did
Like-
they have a middle name? Because
Let me
usually, I
message
mean, it's very
find out.
important that
Okay.
assassins, we use their middle names.
True.
Except for Sirhan, because he was Sirhan. Unless he was
She
Sirhan
must have got a
Sirhan.
phone call.
Yeah.
That happens to her when she gets a phone call.
Okay.
Or maybe she is timed out. I'm sure she'll be back. Hey, Kevin, I have a question for you. Remember you and I did our first podcast? And
Yeah.
we were talking about how some people think, some MAGA people think that Trump would be the next president after Grant. And you said something about damn you, McKinley. Well, Rutherford B. Hayes was the president after Grant.
No, it was no. It's. I think it was to do with the numbers of the president. So
Yeah,
like,
the numbering system.
Trump is considered number 45, and it wasn't McKinley. It was Cleveland, Grover Cleveland, who was the only multiple term non-consecutive president. So in other words, he won an election, lost an election, then won one, and they gave him two different numbers. So it's like he's number 21 and 23 or something like that. Which means that all of the subsequent presidents after that are one number out. Like Trump is technically the 44th different person to have been president.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But interestingly, Trump and his people are saying number 46, number 47, because they think he's going to be 47 as well. But actually, that's not how it works now.
I don't know what happened.
Because they've decided that that's not what they're going to do anymore. If that happens again, you'll just have the number you had first. So Trump won't be 47; he'll still just be 45.
So we'll have half it being one way and half of it being the other. That's even worse.
Okay,
Well,
So
it's
go back
just...
and retroactively fix it, or not.
Oh,
at
you
all.
can't. You retroactive. That's dozens of. You're gonna have to go back and change. That means everyone was
What?
wrong then, because then. Like,
Yeah, everyone was wrong when they thought Pluto was a planet too. We live.
oh yeah, but Pluto exists. Pluto exists independent of human numbering.
No, well, yeah, but its
We get to
status as a
decide it.
planet, right? But its status as a planet is a complete result of human concepts, and so there's a lot of books that say that Pluto is a planet when it's not because people reclassified it and everything was fine. So we'll just have
But is
some books
Grover
that are out
Cleveland
of
a
date.
planet?
It's not. It's considered a dwarf planet now. Which is
Grover
apparently
Cleveland's
different.
a dwarf planet. What?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Wait,
All right,
so
so
Pluto
Kevin's
really
back.
isn't considered a planet anymore?
No, it's not a full planet. It's a dwarf planet, which means that like second class citizen. It's not a planet.
Good point. Yeah, we need to impeach Pluto.
Yeah.
So, Kim, you want to finish the story? Because you dropped out.
Oh yeah, no, it was just so this woman came in, and all of a sudden we're standing there. There's two of us, and we're listening to this woman, and I can see her getting agitated. Like, I'm like, what is going to happen here? What is going to happen here? And before you know it, what does she do? Because it had to do with her taxes, and she's upset, and she's speaking with a gentleman of color. She decides to say, are you even from this country? And I lost my freaking shit. Okay.
Good.
I looked at her. I'll just tell you what I said. I looked at her and I said, excuse me, are you fucking kidding me right now? I said, are you really going to pull the racism out right now? And she goes, what? I'm just asking him. And the woman next to me goes, no, you're not just asking him. He's telling you something. You're not getting the answer you want. So you're asking him if he's from this country. What does that have to do with your taxes? What does that have to do with your taxes? So she, the guy looked at us like, almost like, thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what it means to be a white ally. It's stepping in where other white people are being ridiculous and defending black people or people of color, so they don't have to, because it's exhausting to deal with white people's bullshit all the time.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel that same way.
Racists are far too comfortable. Like, you just see them say some
Yeah.
shit and they just expect everyone to be like, oh, I'm totally on board with the racism. What the fuck? No. You pricks need to be made to be fucking afraid to say that shit in public.
Yes.
This is not fucking okay.
And what I did was, I said that, and then the woman was like huffing and puffing, and she walks away from the front table. She goes over to like a side wall where there's like this shelf, and she starts making phone calls, right? And I could hear her talking. She's a little upset, and all of a sudden all these other people start coming in, and now it's my turn. So I get up to the register and I start to pay the gentleman for my package and all this, and right in front of all these people I said to this gentleman, and she is being a racist, I said, if she keeps this up, you need to call the police. Please promise me you will call the police. And he said, yes, ma'am, I will. And I walked out, and I made sure all those people who were still there heard me, so that possibly if she starts up again after I've left, they will understand what has gone on, because the other woman had already left as well.
Yeah, I probably would have said, if you get a complaint, like, here's my number, here's my email address, here's my name, here's my email. If you get a complaint from this woman, you have your boss call me or contact me.
God, I wish I had done that. I should have done that. Now I will remember to do that.
Yeah.
Didn't even occur.
No. Yeah, I will counter this bullshit narrative.
Yeah.
That is, if it ever comes up. Yeah.
See, this is what Trump has done. He has emboldened racist people.
Right. Oh yeah, it's the green light. Go ahead. It's okay.
But the thing is, there had to be racism in white culture bubbling under the surface. And actually, a lot of it was, he brought it out in the open, but a lot of shit has been going on that mostly people of color have experienced and white people have ignored.
Kristi,
absolutely.
Are you saying there's racism in white society?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm a white person, and this is the first I'm hearing of it. What's
this doesn't sound like the white people I know.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, guys. I will tell you really, really quickly. I'm on Twitter because of this Karen Reed case, and with this Karen Reed case, there is a large population on both sides in terms of politics. So you have Democrats and Republicans on one side who believe in Karen Reed, and then you have Democrats and Republicans on the prosecution side, which is me. And I have come across.
So this case has unified the parties into separate groups.
It has unified them by dividing them into different groups.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. But the ironic thing is I'm finding myself blocking. Now I've had to block over close to 300 people. Okay.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like the old days, back when the anti-feminism brigades were getting dogpiled and stuff.
Well, I'm telling you right now, the trolls that are coming out, it's out of control. So I've blocked about 300 people, and I would say 95% of them are MAGAs or Republicans. Okay, but I've had to block Republicans on my side, because I have asked them. They will start to engage with me because they see my profile, right, which is very democratic, very liberal, very progressive, what I say in my bio. And so I have said on numerous occasions over the last 8 months since I started being in this whole thing that I want to leave the politics out of this, please. I understand we are all on the same team. We're fighting for one thing, and that is to find justice for this man who was hit and killed. Okay, there shouldn't be politics in this. But I've had 2 people who are on the same team as I ask me over and over and taunt me about my beliefs. And I kept asking them. One of them goes by the name Antiquated Rogue. The other one goes by the name Nick. And I've said, Nick and Antiquated, please stop. Please stop, because we're trying to fight for the right thing here. I don't want to engage with you over politics. They wouldn't stop. So I had to block them. And one of them came out right off the bat and said, there's no such thing as racism in America.
Oh, bullshit.
I'm not
Bullshit.
kidding you.
What?
I'm not even kidding you.
What about anti-white racism? What about
There's
reverse
Yeah,
racism?
exactly.
And I just was like, okay, this is beyond. And I just had to block him. And it bothers me that I am on the same team as him when it comes to this fight. But I am on the team of the officers who were involved in this are innocent, and the woman did in fact hit her officer boyfriend. So you can understand I'm on the same team as a lot of people who are back the blue people, right? Which typically I am very critical of law enforcement.
All right then. So the person that died was a police officer.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the
Hey,
whole thing about.
Christy.
Yep, I need to get going.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Have a good day, Christy.
Thanks,
Christy,
y'all.
it was so
Fun
nice
time.
to talk to you again.
Likewise.
I'm sorry I was late.
No, it's fine. I know life takes over, and we kept ourselves entertained until you got here. So y'all have fun. Kevin, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Christy.
So, Kim, at the beginning of this podcast, and I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've seen every single movie in the theater. Matter of fact, not only that, I have Star Wars tattoos on my body. I'm not joking.
I knew you liked Star Wars. I didn't know you had the tattoos.
Oh, yeah. I got the Emperor, I got Vader, I got Yoda, I got Boba Fett, I got Darth Maul. So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I was telling Kevin and Christy about this earlier. This past Saturday, I did Star Wars trivia at this place called The Goat in Manchester. And I came in 4th place. And I know you have an autistic son, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but this woman came up to me and told me that her son has Asperger's, and this kid came in 1st place. He beat me, and I'm a lifetime fan.
Really?
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me. That's That I had you want to hear something crazy? I had a student once, and I tell this story all the time because I think it's absolutely brilliant. Okay, this kid, I had a student once. He had Asperger's. He was about, I don't know, I would say 17, 18 years old. He would ask you what your birthday was, okay? Mine is February 18th, 1972. So he asked me, what is your birthday? And I said, February 18th, 1972. And he would say, you were born on a Friday. He could do
Jesus Christ.
off the top of his head to everybody. Anybody that walked up to him. He was like a human calendar. It was mind-blowing.
That's adorable.
So he said, you were born on a Friday. And I said, okay. He goes, were you? I go, I don't know. I got to find out. So I called my mother and I said, what day was I born? And she's like, what day? I'm like, yeah, what day of the week? And she's like, you were born on a Friday at 8:34 in the morning. And I said, oh my God. And his name was Shane. and I will never forget how brilliant he was. So that doesn't surprise me about the Star Wars story.
You know, and to be honest with you, Kim, I've been a fan since I was 5 years old, and I went to see the original movie in the theater in 1977, and my dad took me to see it. And my parents weren't sure if I'm old enough to go to a theater. They're like, well, he might not sit through it, being a little boy that I was. And I remember being with my dad, and all I did was talk through the whole movie. And my dad's like, Robbie, be quiet. And I wouldn't be quiet because I was 5 years old. So I begged my parents to let me go see the movie again. And they're like, no, absolutely not, because you're just going to talk through it. And I promised my parents I would not talk through the movie, and I didn't. I stayed silent, and that's when I instantly became a fan of Star Wars. And then I remember being 7.5 years old. I wanted to see The Empire Strikes Back, and I'm in the theater with my dad. And no lie, when Vader says to Luke, no, I'm your father, my jaw dropped to the floor. I remember being in the theater and people were like gasping at that, because back then there was like no such thing as the internet, so you didn't know if that was true or not.
Right.
So I remember being a kid and having to wait from 1980 to 1983 when Return of the Jedi came out to find out if that was true or not.
Yeah.
And when I was about 11.5 years old, I was waiting in line to see Return of the Jedi, and there was like a long line going out to the street from where the theater was, where the parking lot of the theater was. And this guy who was coming out of the previous show right now, I will never forget this, Kim. He comes out of the show and yells at the top of his lungs that Darth Vader dies.
Oh, no. He ruined it for you.
Yes, he did. I went into Return of the Jedi knowing Darth Vader dies. I didn't know how he died, but I knew he was going to die in the movie.
That is such a buzzkill. I'm sorry that happened.
Oh, it happened like back in 1983.
It's like the kids in school telling you there's no Santa Claus. I'm so sorry, Rob.
Kim, I can't believe we're almost the same age, because I'm 52 myself. I'll be 53 in November.
Yep, we're very close.
Okay, I'm gonna step away now.
Okay, well, Kim and I need to chat about some things
you go for it.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
I'm sorry I got your name wrong.
It's
but
absolutely fine.
I do like saying Peter.
say Peter or Tom or Kevin or whatever. That's absolutely fine.
I'm gonna stick with Kevin. I like that name. It's my children's father's name. So there you go.
Okay, Susan. I'll see you. No, I'll see you later, Kim. See you later, Rob.
I'll see you later, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
Oh, bless her. God dang it. Okay. I do want to talk about Gaza a little bit, and we'll do so via the form of no, fuck off, you cunt. Go away. Oh, God, as if John Redwood's still alive. Please die, you old cunt. Anyway. Gaza. Parliamentary debate. Let's go.
The only thing that UK can do to try and stop the starvation and the potential genocide of those left in Rafah.
In the early part of his question, he did indeed set out what we are all of us trying to address. When it comes to an arms embargo, he will know that the amount of arms that Britain supplies is negligible, but equally we operate...
So what if it's fucking negligible? So what? Okay, we're only giving 10 guns to the people who are going to use those 10 guns to kill maybe only 500 people. So why does it really matter that much? Fuck off. No one is saying that we're that fucking important, but it's about taking a stand on some shit, right? What is that thing talking? Technically, it's a human. Why do I keep fucking pressing on Rishi Sunak's stupid fucking face? God almighty. Anyway.
And don't involve all of the hostages being fully released. Will the Deputy Foreign Secretary give me a commitment that we intensify plans for
Oh, that's right, yeah. Because we have to have the Deputy Foreign Secretary now answer questions in the Commons, because the Foreign Secretary is in the House of Lords, because it's 1827 again. Fucking joke. God damn it. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget you can hit the follow button and subscribe and do bits messages, etc, etc. If you're on YouTube, hello there YouTube. You can become a member for as little as 99 pence or do a super chat. These are things that are available to you.
The future and peace.
He is absolutely right, Mr. Speaker, that Hamas can have no role in Gaza in the future, and much of the work that we are doing in that respect is designed to...
Maybe they shouldn't have been put in place in the first place then. Maybe they shouldn't have been emboldened by Benjamin Netanyahu and his freaks.
as soon as the time is right.
Would have been good.
George Galloway.
Oh, ho, ho, it's about to get spicy and homophobic. Mr. Speaker, I put it to you. There's queers. There's poofters in Israel. That is what he sounds like, okay? It's like Shrek.
Mutilation of many of them. The government say they're doing everything they can, but they are not. Because you could now stop.
What's my take on Galloway? I think I've talked about this before when he got elected, but yeah, my take on Galloway. He's right on things like the Iraq War, and was something of a trailblazer at that point. And most of the time he talks, it's fine, right? So like 90% of the things he says are absolutely fine. But there's then that 10% that's just fucking, just mental, batshit, fucking insane nonsense. So like, you'd be like, oh, anti-war stuff, anti-war stuff, anti-war stuff. Trans people, 76 genders. Sensible point, sensible point, sensible point, sensible point. Vladimir Putin's okay. What was wrong with Saddam Hussein? Sensible point, sensible point, sensible. Look, it's just... And it ruins it. It totally fucking ruins it. Because he's a social conservatoid religious freak, ultimately. It's so annoying. Galloway is not a cat. He is not a cat. Do not get confused between this man and a cat. Cats are awesome. This guy is a douche.
Help, particularly to children, we are doing so.
What? What? Why does he keep fucking skipping?
Yet Hamas refused to accept it.
Given her...
oh, because it's the live fucking... the live section, isn't it? Oh, for fuck's sake. Hang on a minute, hang on. There's no... Yeah,
Ukraine, because this battle is so very important for all of us, and not least our Ukrainian friends. And that will take...
Hang on a minute, hang on a minute. Not Gaza urgent question. Why is it not available? Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know then.
All to £12.5 billion provided.
Becomes such a morass of activities. Who in the Cabinet Office is charged with this responsibility? Is it the National Security Advisor?
It's so annoying.
Which Cabinet Committee is overseeing this? Would it be the National Security Council itself? And I hope so. And
no, fuck off with the armed forces.
To Rafa. Now, if I add those two things up,
Jessica!
What he is saying between the lines is that Israel has currently breached the rule that the UK has.
You'll notice she's far more progressive on this one particular area because there are lots of Muslims in her constituency, and her majority isn't that big.
Set. And I don't think he wants to say it here, but that is what I am hearing. Yeah. So if there is no credible plan...
Yeah, Sutton Coldfield's just down the road, yeah.
And the attack is ongoing, when can we expect, if not today, an update on the UK's position towards Israel?
In theory, she's Labour, yes.
The things that have been mentioned today from this dispatch box.
Well, I have given her the update from the dispatch box insofar as there is an update to give. And she asked me about the words that we are using in respect of Rafah. what I have made clear is that we have not seen a credible plan for military action in Rafah so far, and therefore we are not able to judge whether or not it would be in accordance with international humanitarian law.
It's literally happening. You can literally see the fucking footage of it happening. It's been going on, you dickhead.
And that is the point which I have been making to the House.
Sir Geoffrey Clifton Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Israel is our friend and ally, but that doesn't stop
No,
us
it isn't.
questioning their actions. My right honourable friend today, the Deputy Foreign Secretary, says he wants to see much more
Sir
aid
Geoffrey
getting into
Clifton
Gaza.
Brown. Sir Geoffrey Clifton Brown. Have you ever seen a more fucking, like, stereotypical British bullshit name? Sir Geoffrey Clifton Brown, Esquire. I own several plantations in Jamaica.
Allow those mile-long queues in Rafah to rapidly go into Gaza and relieve the suffering of the people there.
Well, we continually appeal, Mr. Speaker, for more aid to get in by road. We have made the arrangements through the maritime form of...
Well, it would be a lot easier, potentially, for that aid to get in via road if it weren't for... where is the thing? Oh, for fuck's sake, hang on. I definitely fucking... Did I bookmark it or something? I'm not sure. If it weren't for Israeli citizens literally dancing in front of the fucking thing... Hang on. Where is it? Oh, come on. Are they suppressing it on the search on fucking YouTube? Not YouTube, on Twitter. Dancing, I guess? I don't know. What the okay, Israel dancing? What the what do I have to fucking type in here to get it? Is that it? No. Anyway, there were loads of Israelis dancing in front of the border checkpoint again over the last couple of days to stop people from trucks from getting through. Did I not bookmark it? Are they deleting stuff now? Maybe they are. Fuck. Yeah, they must be getting rid of shit. Anyway. Also, this was funny, just as we're on British politics. You know Liz Truss, former Prime Minister who lost to a fucking lettuce? Anyway, she says that Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, is one of her big favourites. Loves it.
Liz Truss recently said that you were her favourite Conservative leader. Do you admire her?
¿Quién?
Liz Truss recently...
Look how confused he looks. Like, who? Who is this person? What? Is that... What? Wounded. Absolutely wounded and scoonded. There's no coming back from that, Liz. It's over. It's fucking Jova.
My constituent Emily Fairs has family in Gaza. Here's her message. We heard from our family yesterday. Half of them have now fled Rafah after threatening evacuation orders fell from the sky. When we spoke to them, they didn't know where they were going. They mentioned Al-Mawasi. But there is no building there for them to stay. It's not safe there. There are no food provisions there. There's nowhere to go to the toilet, nowhere to wash. They are now utterly destitute.
Hate Blue Mondays.
Forced displacement is a war crime, Mr. Speaker. His government have it in their power to set up a scheme for people desperate to join family in the UK. If not now, when?
Well, the Honourable Lady sets out the reports that she has received, which are heart-rending reports, and that...
Well, no, that's not the one I'm referring to. That was from the 14th. There were new dancing dickheads from yesterday. But thank you for the thing, Labour historian. Pink hair pronouns, true.
Limited if it results in the evacuation and forced displacement of around 100,000 people. An operation is not limited if it results in all crossing being closed and humanitarian aid being completely halted. We cannot, as a House, downplay the significance of what is happening. The Minister said
That's
that the
true,
government is doing
non-binary, I
everything they
agree.
can. But will the Minister
100%.
make clear from that dispatch box that the government does not
Thanks for
support
stopping
this
by, Miss
offensive,
Aya.
and that there must be consequences under international law if it goes ahead?
Mr. Speaker, the government made it absolutely clear that we have yet to see a plan in respect to any military operations.
You're not going to
in
see
Rafah,
a
but
plan.
we have always made it clear.
Why would Israel send you a fucking plan? What the fuck?
Richard Berger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For months, the Minister has come here and told us the government's asking the Israeli government to do this, the government's requesting that the Israeli government does that. The harsh truth is that Israel is ignoring the UK government. And the truth is that our government actually now needs to act. Words are not enough. We need action to show that there are consequences for breaching international law. Act now by ending arms sales. Act now by suspending the trade talks, because if the government doesn't do what's necessary and take the action to help prevent the attack on Rafah, then isn't it the case that the Israeli government will see it as our government giving him the green light to commit yet more war crimes?
The honourable gentleman will have seen what the Foreign Secretary has said, what the Prime Minister has said, and he will have seen the way in which we are working with our allies, with countries in the region, to try and improve the situation. And he will know, as the whole House knows, that there is no magic solution to this. We have to continue to persist.
I mean, putting any actual amount of pressure on Israel to stop the slaughter might help. Will it solve the problem instantly? Nope. Nope. But, you know, it might do more than the currently nothing that we've tried so far. Just a thought.
Of what the red lines are.
On the
for
point of
UK
SNP,
government,
yes,
but
there are
it
SNP
feels
there.
like
Yeah.
there aren't many. It felt like it wasn't a red line when babies in Gaza were removed from the wombs of their dead mothers. It felt like it wasn't a red line when children in Gaza looked up to the sky, not knowing if aid or bombs were going to drop on them. And now in Rafah, displaced refugees once again face the threat of forcible transfer. And again, it doesn't feel like this is a red line. Yet given that there's precedent for halting arms sales to Israel, will the UK government finally halt arms sales? And if not, can the Deputy Foreign Secretary please explain
Yeah,
to
the
us
UK is a
what
joke,
the
Mr.
costs
Satnav.
associated to a Palestinian life, and what are the red lines? What does Benjamin Netanyahu have to do that is too much?
It's a very good point. But
The
very good
case
question.
that she makes, Mr. Speaker, is one that should encourage everyone, the government, but everyone else as well, to do everything they can to bring an end to this catastrophic...
Literally no point even listening to what he has to say. Not even a dick joke. Why would I do a dick joke about France? Every one of them's a dick. Oh!
But the attack on
Oh,
Gaza has
Khalid
started.
Mahmood!
The escalation of humanitarian disaster
He's a Birmingham
catastrophe
MP.
continues in contradiction to international law. Too much hand-wringing has taken place.
And he's correct
Too
on
much
this, but he's also very stupid.
Making excuses has taken
In general.
place. We have to call what it is. We stand whilst people are starving, while children are dying of malnutrition, while there is no support for the civilians in that area. As the case has been for hostages to be released, what will happen when that Rafah is bombed? What will happen to the Israeli refugees? This is a policy which is doomed from start.
From the Birmingham
We call
no-go
for a
zone.
ceasefire
Yes.
now and move forward.
Well, he will know that the government has consistently sought a pause so that the hostages can get out and aid can...
Okay, and it didn't happen, so what are you going to do about that at all?
Inventing new ways of trying to achieve that. And he started his question by pointing out that...
Yeah, no, Khalid Mahmood is a very stupid human being. Like, he's right on this particular topic, and he's not necessarily the worst MP ever, but he's not great either. He once claimed that, or once suggested that Birmingham, the city, which obviously he represents a part of, that Birmingham should apply to host the Football World Cup. Forgetting, of course, that unlike the Olympics, the Football World Cup is hosted by nations, or indeed amalgamations of nations, not individual cities. He's a stupid man.
That I have expressed on numerous occasions in the House can lead to a sustainable ceasefire.
Kenny McCaskill.
Not time to recognise that Israel's actions are not a disproportionate response to 7th of October. They are in fact part of a concerted plan to make Gaza unlivable, to extirpate the Palestinian population there, at the same time as they encroach upon Palestinian territories in the occupied West Bank. And as a result of that, is it not time that we ceased arms sales, stopped being complicit in their military actions, reinstated UNRWA raid, and conjoined with other nations in condemning this dreadful genocide?
Based, but also he's from the Elba Party, so I presume all of that doesn't include the trans people, because that's their big thing, is the transes.
That the House should recognise that the findings of the court have been misrepresented in that respect, as Joan Dongu, a former president of the ICJ, still serving at the time of the preliminary decision, stated the ICJ did not
This is literally
decide
British
that
foreign
the claim
policy.
of genocide was plausible.
Russia Nara Ali.
Thank
That
you,
we are
Mr.
literally
Speaker.
this.
The Minister talks about a pause. The United Nations voted for a resolution calling for a ceasefire. The Minister is now talking
Representing
about
Galloway's old
and
seat,
looking at
Bethnal
military
Green and
plans
Bow.
by the Israelis in relation to Gaza, when thus far the international community has made clear that there shouldn't be an invasion of Gaza. It feels like the minister's going backwards, and his government has still failed to restore UNRWA funding, which is
Still
making the
based on
matter and
Israeli
misery
lies.
worse.
Based on
And he
absolute
has
fucking
failed
bullshit from
to
Israel.
Take action to make sure his government supports the implementation of the International Court of Justice provisional measures and the ICC
Weapons-grade
investigation to the
cookies.
occupied
True.
Palestinian territories. The minister has got a good track record in the past, but he is failing us by taking us backwards on this very important issue. When is he going to take action on these specific measures?
Can we really speed up questions that some people aren't going to get into?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I don't recognise the early...
Hoyle, you are a chocolate teapot. You really are.
Sure, as I have in the past of the House, that we are doing everything we can to address the dreadful situation which she has so eloquently articulated.
Senator Beckham.
The Minister's reply on the 17th of April to my written question referred to wanting to, and I quote, see Israel take greater care to limit its operations to military targets. Can the Minister confirm that he is finally aware, therefore, that Israel has not limited its onslaught to military targets, and given the government's own licensing criteria refers to risk that items might be used to facilitate a serious violation of international humanitarian law or serious acts of violence against women or children, how can continue to
Macklemore's new song? What the fuck what?
be justified?
Why would I listen to a Macklemore song? It's giving the money to to UNRWA. Oh, is he? Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty based. Good for him.
Each of those incidents, the government has said that we want an independent and credible investigation and transparent conclusions so that we know why and how these acts took place.
Ian Bunn.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister has said that the policy has not changed, but the facts on the ground.
Oh, another
have.
Birmingham MP. Good lord.
Ordering the
They're fucking
evacuation
everywhere.
of 100,000 people is not a small operation. That is a big operation. Now, the Minister knows that the clear test for suspending arms sales is a clear risk of a breach of humanitarian law. But he's told the House this afternoon that he has got no assurances that that breach is impossible because he has not seen a plan. So can he tell the House what advice he has given to the Department for Business and Trade and when about their legal obligations to suspend arms sales now? And can he lay this out for us this afternoon before he comes before the Select Committee on the 21st of May to give evidence?
Well, the position on arms sales is very clear, and on legal advice also, as the Right Honourable Gentleman will be aware. And he knows that we always follow carefully although we do not publish it, the legal advice, and we always act in accordance with it. And he will also know that in the light of that legal advice, as the Foreign Secretary announced on the 9th of April, the UK position with regard to export licences remains unchanged.
Andrew Weston.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Gaza is bleeding and Gaza is starving. At least 34,700 people are dead, the majority of them women and children, while a man-made famine continues to take hold. How much further do things need to escalate before this government finally takes action, restores UNRWA funding and finally calls for an immediate ceasefire?
He raises the issue of UNRWA, as it was raised indeed by his honourable friend, and I should have responded on that point. Britain currently is in a position of not owing any money to UNRWA, and we have said that we are considering the Kelowna report. We are waiting for the OIOS report. In due course, we will come to the House and tell the House the decision we have made. But it's important to recognise that at the current time, Britain is fully paid up in respect of UNRWA's money and work.
If that's true, then fair play, I guess.
14,500 children have been killed in Gaza. Is the Minister proud that the UK continues to sell arms for use in this action?
Very good question.
I am
SNP
proud,
being based.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, that Britain is doing everything it can. The government is bending every sinew to try and resolve this desperate situation, to try and make sure that we get aid into Gaza, flood Gaza with aid, as the Israeli government has promised, but also that we get the hostages out whose families have suffered so much since the appalling pogrom on October the 7th.
Holly Lynch.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Foreign Secretary has said that he's still waiting to see the military plans from Israel in relation to Rafah, but we're all watching the consequences of the execution of those plans.
This is a child. Who let this child into Parliament? Why are they... What's going on here? She's like 14 or something. What? Am I just very old? I think I'm just very old, aren't I? God damn. Thank you, by the way, to Mr. Gil O'Teen for the donation. Much love. I missed that. That was during they were talking. Jesus. Anyway, yes. You can hit the follow button, you can subscribe to the channel, you can give subs to the community. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can link that to your Twitch account for free. You get one free subscription every month, which you can use on good channels or shite ones like mine. And if you're on YouTube, you can become a member for as little as 99p. You can gift membership to the community, and you can do super chat. Isn't the peer a ruse to fuck over Palestinians? Very possibly, I don't know.
Mr. Deputy Speaker. So given the number of civilians sheltering in Rafah, can the Minister make clear UK government does not support the Rafah offensive?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I've made crystal clear where the government stands on the issue of any Rafah offensive, and we will continue to do everything we can.
But as always, when they cross that next red line, what are you going to do about it? Because if you just set another red line, and another red line, and another red line, everyone will be fucking dead. There'll be no more Palestinians left.
Workers, medics, journalists, including British citizens amongst them. They've been responsible for the targeting of civilian infrastructure. In these circumstances, what possible basis can there be in law for continuing to supply weapons to Israel?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, the decisions on weapons licences are not made across the
No fucking way. No way is she older than me. Who is this person? Who is this person that's supposedly older than me and looks like she's fucking 12? About.
And we act in accordance with that advice.
Justin Matters.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. 1.4 million displaced people kettled in the south of the Gaza Strip, precisely where they were told to go, now facing mass starvation, a humanitarian catastrophe unfolding before our eyes. The Rafah offensive cannot and it must not be allowed to happen. The Deputy Foreign Secretary says he's yet to see a plan, credible or not. But a plan clearly exists if the Israeli authorities are asking 100,000 people to move. So can I ask the Deputy Foreign Secretary this? Given that he has not been clear to the House on consequences
She's older than
or
me.
indeed advice from officials, if there is a breach of international law, at which point is the British government also complicit?
Well, the government has made it clear that all countries and Israel in this conflict must abide by international humanitarian law. He will be well aware that there are consequences for not abiding by international humanitarian
I just feel
law,
older.
and Britain stands by its own international commitments in that respect.
She
and
looks
expects others
20
to do
years
likewise.
younger than me.
Gavin Newlands.
Mr Deputy Speaker, the Minister said, "We have not seen a credible plan to protect civilians." This has been the case since the shameful atrocities of October the 7th. 7 months on and 35,000 deaths, we get the same lip service, the same drivel about urging Israel to follow international law, all whilst the Labour front bench gave them political cover. The UK shamefully continues to send arms to Israel, so if, as I think it will be, this is found to be a genocide and Netanyahu therefore a war criminal, this government and therefore this country will be complicit, will it not?
Yep.
Well, I think
from a
he
571
uses
area
lurid language, and I think, Mr Deputy Speaker, that he should recognise what the government...
Get fucked. Let's have something a bit funnier to end off with, I think. I do like a Sam Cedar...
from a 571...
I do like a Sam Cedar clip. You know me. And this time it wasn't even 255 that sent it to me. But god dang it, if it ain't great. Have a shave and get some sunlight. Me? It's just rude. Don't be rude. I mean, yeah, but still.
Calling from a 571 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Sam, this is Dan Norton from California.
Dan from California. What's on your mind?
First of all, on my introduction, instead of saying I'm Dan from California, would it be all right if I say I'm Dan Norton 1 from YouTube?
Sure, you just did.
Okay, just for future reference. All right, so...
I'm KF Logan 1875 from Twitch. Yeah!
In a couple of my calls
make a note.
Before...
Wait, did you write that down, Bradley?
So, in a couple of my calls from before, you brought up Social Security in connection with Ayn Rand. And so on that, I think there's nothing wrong with her taking it, or nothing hypocritical, because her view was not that
Dan, when did we have this conversation? Just so we're all on the same page.
October of 2021 was the first time when you brought up the issue of Social Security in one of my calls.
Okay.
And it came up again last October.
Yeah, anyone who's like defending Ayn Rand is almost certainly a pederast. Is just what I'm going to say there. And by that I mean libertarian, because they're all very, very child diddly. All I'm saying is they know the age of consent in various legal jurisdictions in a way that they don't professionally need to know that information. So why did they look it up?
In my last call.
All right. So you're breaking tradition by calling mid-year. That's fine. Okay. I think I remember now. Okay. So you take issue with me bringing up Ayn Rand being on Social Security because I said it was hypocritical, and you think it's not hypocritical because this is the system that you're dealt with, and she paid into it, presumably, because you need to, because it's taxation. And so why shouldn't she take it? Is that the point?
Yeah, basically. You didn't say she was hypocritical, but I got the sense that was likely your view.
Oh,
And
no,
I mean,
actually, no. I agree with you. Like, people say, like, hey, if you want to have higher taxes, why don't you just pay more in taxes? And I'm like, no, that's not the point of taxes. Taxes are for everybody to pay in. They're supposed to be a policy. And I don't think you're hypocritical if you take Social Security, even though you have been arguing against.
I think it clearly does make you hypocritical. It's just that there's nothing like necessarily wrong with it in a sense. Like, realizing you fucked up and made a mistake is fine. The problem is she never admitted that she fucked up and made a mistake. She just took the money and never changed her opinions, it seems like. You know? Talking of far-right lunatics who realised they fucked up, I don't know if anyone saw this. I definitely did bookmark this. Do not fuck me, Twitter. Here we go. Boom. Lauren Southern. We talked about her a little bit, didn't we? She went off to try and do the trad life. Do you remember? She disappeared for a couple of years and she had a kid and she got married and all of that stuff. She wanted to become a trad wife. And she discovered that the traditional marriage felt like being enslaved. She felt compelled to rationalise her husband's abuse, and the anti-feminist life was incredibly lonely and made her want to die. She reports, the closest thing to a modern-day Western slave. With no income of her own, she had to do everything. The lawns, the house, the cooking, the baby care, the university homework, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any support. There was no help changing diapers. There was no help waking up in the night with the baby. I'd still have to get up to make breakfast before work. I'd be shaking and nervous for fear I'm going to get yelled at. Then he'd berate her for spending all of her time on tasks other than earning money. I was told daily I was worthless, pathetic deadweight. All you do is sit around and take care of the baby and do chores. Well, that's not really sitting around, is it? The only time in my life where I idealised dying. Fucking hell. She tells me she's not alone. She tells me she knows other women still suffering in unhappy trad life marriages. One of our WhatsApp groups, she says, is like the Underground Railroad for women in the conservative movement. Fucking hell. That is one hell of a sentence, man. Some of these are prominent media figures. Quote, there are a lot of influencers who are not in good relationships who are still portraying happy marriage publicly and bashing people for not being married while being in horrendous relationships. All of these women who are thinking in their heads, I'm uniquely terrible and I'm uniquely making a mistake. No, something is more generally amiss. All of this was, Southern tells me, difficult to square with her religious beliefs. She would pray by his bed when he was angry with her, hoping that if she gave him grace one more time, he'd realise the depth of her love and be kinder. And if this didn't work, she was encouraged to persist by the way online life had conditioned these beliefs into listicle form. But as she discovered, distilling religious traditionalism into viral bullet points does not provide an adequate framework for navigating the complexities of a real-world marriage. She thought, she told me, that, quote, as long as I put on high heels and the lipstick when my husband comes home, and as long as I cook the best meal, as long as I'm always submissive and say, yes sir, whatever you want, things go fantastic. And if it's not fantastic, the listicle version of traditionalism would just say she should make more effort. It was, she says, an embarrassing wake-up call. Finding myself constantly applying these rules and instructions I found on Twitter and then never getting the results they were supposed to get in the realm of relationships. So again, conservatism is just fail. Just utter fail. Absolute fucking bullshit. She'll still back Trump, though, I'm sure.
Government programs like Social Security. I mean, it's possible, and I, will cop to not having read Ayn Rand since I was much, much, much younger.
You're good.
But it's possible that she, had broader sort of like feelings about how what it does to you to
Dan
take
Clay.
Money from the government.
How are you?
That maybe I would find to be hypocritical, but I would have been surprised if I had talked about it being hypocrisy. No, I think the point of her taking
Lauren Southern did sell it as awesome, and was massively racist. Yeah,
that money is not so much hypocritical, but how effective and important it is in our society. Because presumably, right, she had access to all of the...
She is indeed, Sean, yes.
A wealth, growing power that like the stock market would have provided, or the free market. And the fact that she needed to take Social Security, I think is indicative of like a lot of people in this country. In fact, as you know, I've said, I'm sure, on one of our calls, or at least in times I've talked about Social Security in the past, that when it was introduced, it kept 2/3 of our elderly out of poverty. So I think the reason why I would illustrate that point was even Ayn Rand knew the value of...
See, look, this person gets it. The top-rated comment. I'm a simple man. I see Libertarian on the Majority Report. I click watch. Absolutely. That is a thumb up. Definitely.
Social Security and needed it.
Okay, so no, actually, so I would dispute the last point that she needed it. She did not need it. She died wealthy, and she left, I think, around $500,000 to her heir. I mean, she was a very...
Can we get some lols in chat for Ayn Rand being dead? That is very funny.
Wealthy author. She was getting lots of royalties from her books. So she didn't need the money, but she had a right to it. Some of the money...
Oh, I agree with you. She definitely had a right to it. And if it was up to me, if she really was that wealthy, then hopefully our taxation clawed back, the money in such a way so that it wasn't, that if...
Why is it stopping like that? Quality will go down to 360p like it was 1998.
She was receiving income, in that age. It was clawing back some of that money, but okay, I have no problem with...
Ayn Rand is dude. Correct. Hello, Boy Pagan Man. Everyone go and follow Boy Pagan Man immediately. If she didn't need it, then it sounds hypocritical. Well, it's hypocritical either way. It's just also just silly. I don't know. Like, if she didn't need it, why was she taking it? I don't know.
With wealthy people getting Social Security, as long as we have taxation that, make sure that they're paying their fair share of taxes.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, sorry, I've missed this. Thank you, sorry, caps locks on, which, by the way, none of the letters are in caps lock, so that's a bit confusing. But thank you for joining, and thank you, Zoe Zarina, for both following. That was 2 hours ago when we started, but, to be fair... I missed it because I was talking to other people. But welcome to the Kevolution. I hope you enjoy your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for a day. I hope you enjoy your stay. Outside the sun is shining. Seems like heaven ain't far away. That's from the Killers.
Well, when I say she had a right to it, I don't mean she had like a political right to it, because I don't think anyone has a right to live off of other people's money. What I mean is she had a moral claim to it, or a moral right. Like if money is forcibly taken away from you, then I think it's reasonable to, if you get some of that money back, then that seems perfectly fair and reasonable. But the money should not be coercively taken in the first place. That was her objection to...
It shouldn't be... It's taxation is theft! Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. These people are insufferable.
Social Security. It wasn't that you shouldn't take it if you can get it, but you shouldn't be forced to pay into this system in the first place.
Right.
But civilization is what it is, mate. Tough shit.
Well, but I mean, that is the dues we pay for society, and we have decided as a society.
We live in a society. Sam Cedar goes sicko mode.
That we don't want 2/3 of our elderly living in poverty. And so we have decided to have taxes. Now, of course, I would also argue further that we would have no society as we know it without taxes. B, that it's not her money. It's not your money. It is, and if it was, you would be able to burn it. But you're not able to burn it. It's illegal to burn your dollars.
Is that literally true? I didn't know that. I mean, I've never burned money, so I don't suppose it really matters, but yeah.
You know, because it is Uncle Sam's money, and we use it as a currency. And the fact is that currency has value because the one entity that has a monopoly of power only accepts one thing in terms of paying its taxes, and that is the dollar. And that's why money has value in that sense. Taxation.
Yeah, by pagan man, he's a libertarian, so of course he thinks it's taxation is theft. That's what I mean. I was literally doing the bit a second ago. Like they just scream taxation is theft. It's like a religious mantra. It's just a chant, you know.
Is what gives that money value as opposed to like puka beads.
Well, I mean, I think the value of money comes from the things that it represents, the goods and services that it represents. Like if you have inflation in Zimbabwe or wherever, or Argentina, where you have people with wheelbarrow fulls of money that represent nothing, it's worthless. So money in itself, you can print money, and our government does that. You know, it can print trillions of dollars.
Yes.
Yeah, but the dollar clearly is worth a lot, isn't it? Because you can go into a store and say, here is $10 and receive $10 worth of produce in return. Like, yeah, obviously there are more currencies that have come and gone and are now worthless that at one point were very, valuable. But clearly the dollar isn't that. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. It's the entire fucking modern monetary system is based. It's a house of cards ready to fucking collapse, right? It's all built on debt. Functionally, basically all Western governments are bankrupt. But that's not the point. The actual piece of paper or piece of metal that we see as that currency still has value because you can literally exchange it for goods and services. And as long as we mutually agree that that's the case, and we still do, then it's fine for the time being. It'll come crashing down at some point. I just hopefully it's after I'm dead, because I don't want to be old man in Mad Max world. Ideally. Well, it doesn't collapse, it slumps, and they pour loads of money into it because the magic money tree is magically found again, isn't it? 'Tis what they do. By the way, hello there, Rovac.
And then we get inflation. What really gives money its value, I think, is the goods and services that.
But the point is why does someone give up their goods and services for the U.S. dollar? All right, let's just make it simple so that we can talk about like what happens on our daily basis.
And interestingly, that he mentioned Zimbabwe, they use the US dollar there now, don't they? That's the currency in Zimbabwe. Because their Zimbabwean dollar became worthless.
Why do they give that up? Why do they take U.S. dollars as opposed to something else that might be valuable to them? The reason why they do it is because money is the best. U.S. dollar, particularly when you live in the U.S., that has value outside of obviously our borders. But let's just say this, so that we can limit this, so that we can really understand this concept. The reason why we only take dollars for our membership, let's say, to get the fun half. The reason why we only take dollars instead of like stuff like, you know, I don't know, liquid IV packets or whatever it is, stuff that I consume, is because those dollars are not only fungible, and I can use them everywhere. It's because everybody pays their taxes in dollars. It's the one consistent thing that gives value to our dollars. In fact, you should read David Graeber's book about money. The late David Graeber, he explains this is how the
Does anyone have a link to that book? Sounds interesting.
Roman Empire would use their currency. They would go into a place. I'm not suggesting that we should be imperialists, but this illustrates how
Bit late for that. It's already happened.
the value of money. And they would say the Roman currency had no value, you know, thousands of miles away, except for the fact that the Romans said, incidentally, we're here. We want to buy a chicken for our soldiers. We're going to give you the...
Yes, they regularly asked nicely if they could have chickens. No, to be fair, they did often actually pay for this stuff, but not always. What's this? A $100 billion Zimbabwean note there. Zimbabwean dollar note. That is, I mean, literally not worth the paper it's printed on. Fucking brilliant. Mad shit.
This money, and they go like, well, why would I want Roman coins?
Can we get some lols in chat for Robert Mugabe being dead? Let's spread the love around, shall we?
How's that going to help me? And they go, oh, incidentally, we're also charging a tax. And you can only pay in the Roman coins. So we're going to give you 2 coins. We're going to take one back for tax. Just I'm being, this is just as an example. It's not specific. And that's what gives it the value. And then, that's why with those 2 coins are going to actually be worth it for you for chickens. Everybody's going to be paying taxes in Roman coins. So you're going to be able to trade Roman coins for things of value, because ultimately it's the one thing that's going to keep you out of jail, because you got to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Well, I do think money can have value.
There's an interesting point from the Bible that did strike me, and it goes to the point of paying the taxes. There's a line in the Bible that says when someone asks, should we pay taxes to the Roman authorities? And Jesus says a very odd thing, where he says, he looks at the coin and it's got Caesar's head on it. And he says, pay unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and pay unto God that which is God's. So in other words, on earth, do the earthly thing, and then, but it's in service of God, this bigger thing. And people have tried to rationalise this in a number of different ways, right? There have been loads of weird ways that people have tried to construct to make it make sense. But ultimately, I look at it from a much more practical, like, concrete reality type thing. It's realpolitik from Jesus, right? The Jesus character, I think there probably was someone like that. Some of the details are a bit iffy, but whatever. That character knows that the Romans, if he says, don't pay your taxes to the Romans, you're going to get fucking killed. Like, they're going to fucking murder you if you dare say don't pay your taxes. So he's just doing the sensible thing of saying, yeah, pay your taxes to the Romans, but also, like, God's the bigger deal type thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's so obviously just a piece of, like, survival on Jesus' part. That's all that's happening there. It's really not that complicated. But for centuries, people have been debating it about, state authority and, is taxation therefore mandated by God? No, Jesus was a politician, amongst other things. He was a leader of men. He was a politician.
And if there were no taxes, like if you imagine an island scenario, like we've talked about some island scenarios in previous calls. Like, if you imagine people are on an island, like at the beginning, they could just barter with each other, and there might.
Oh God, Libertarian goes full Coconut Island. Let's go. Let's go. If he says the phrase "throat my cock" at any point during this, I'm going to fucking lose it. Unbelievable.
Not be money at all involved,
That's
but
right.
it becomes inconvenience to just have to barter everything. So if you create some medium of exchange, like money or like dollar bills or gold that everyone agrees on, then it facilitates transactions.
Well, that's the beauty of being on a tiny island. I mean, I remember when I was in college, I went to Jamaica for spring break because there was discounts because of riots in
Jamaica. I barely know her. Hey,
Kingston, I think at the time, and we had no currency except for these little plastic shells in the hotel. But here's the point: we live in a country of hundreds of millions of people, and not everybody is going to agree on the same currency and agree that we're all part of some type of thing. That's why someone from New York who doesn't know anybody in California can use the American dollar. Now, it's true on your tiny little island scenario, people can decide like, hey, we're just going to use coconut shells as a currency, and we're going to go back and forth. But the fact of the matter is that like you cannot have a society that is in any way, even remotely more specific without a currency.
Yeah, I did a Jamaica joke, yeah.
I just want to drill down on this point a little bit, Caller, because like we can do the Robinson Crusoe stuff, but you love money so much you want to take it out of deprive 2/3 of elderly people of it. The greenback in America, when did that form? Do you know?
Well, I don't want to deprive elderly of the money. I want them to keep what they earn.
Sure, whatever.
I think you're the one who wants to deprive them of the money by
Let's get back
taking
to
it away.
history. Okay, so greenbacks, when did that form in America? When did that?
That was like the 1860s, wasn't it? I think.
When did those emerge? Greenbacks.
I believe that was around the time of the Civil War.
Right, and do you that went up and down in value a lot during the Civil War? Was that because of the goods and services, or was it maybe because of how well the Union Army was doing?
I'm not familiar with the reason that the value of the greenback went up and down.
I'd look into it.
I mean, I don't know the.
Yeah, it's about the state's ability to enforce the worth of the currency as well. Yeah, that's a fair point. You'll notice that the Confederate dollar became basically worthless as the Confederate government collapsed. You promised to pay the bearer on demand the sum of $10. How are you going to do that exactly? You haven't even got a fucking building. You got nothing. Can I go to the fucking state treasury and get my $10? No, I fucking can't, because the state treasury doesn't exist. Because the fucking Sherman just set it on fire. Well, he didn't technically do that, but you get the idea.
I think the point is
I
trying
think
to.
the government should. It shouldn't mandate a currency. Like, I think there should be a free market in currency, and there used to be, like, banks could issue their own notes.
Yeah, that's what we need. We just need every motherfucker can just print their own notes. What can possibly go wrong with that? I can set up a bank and just start printing out $100 billion Zimbabwean notes. Definitely, yeah. This will work very well. I foresee no problems arising from your solution here, you fucking lunatic. We should have a free market where everyone can just make their own money. The economy understander has logged on, everybody.
I think in Scotland.
Why do you think
Canada,
that changed?
The government. Why did the government start taking over the currency?
Well, why do you
with
think it
federal
was?
reserve system?
Why do you think everybody having disparate currencies was changed?
Communism.
I don't know the economic history of the U.S., but I know in Canada and Scotland there was free banking and there were far fewer runs on the banks.
Right.
And
Okay.
panics
Why
and
do you
so
think
forth.
that changed?
So they were actually better than the U.S.
Why do you think that changed?
Okay, but what I will say, dear friend, is that the reason that the nation of the United Kingdom exists is because Scotland bankrupted itself doing some imperialism in Central America. We won't go into it, but the point is they bankrupted themselves and had to join with London. They had to join with England. That happened. Okay? So your system didn't really work out so perfectly, did it? Because of governmental action that led to other things taking place. Because again, a currency is only as good as the guns that back it up. In essence. Or not as good as the guns, but as cohesive as the forces that own the guns are. To a degree.
Well, I think that this gets into some deeper philosophy, but
No, not philosophy. No. I'm specifically actually trying to keep it out of philosophy, and I'm trying to ground it into reality. Why?
Don't bring up reality with a libertarian. Sam, do you know how unfair that is? Asking a libertarian to argue on the basis of things in reality and not some abstract situation where a man needs a coconut on an island that doesn't exist. Are you mental? If they're not talking about mud pies, they're not fucking happy.
Why do you think that that system of everybody issuing different currencies for stuff wouldn't have been effective for what merchants wanted, let's say?
Well, I don't know that it wasn't effective.
Why do you think it went away? Do you think it was just it was stomped out because of the authoritarian nature of government?
Well, this is where I do think philosophy could be relevant.
No. I don't want philosophy. I want actually reality. Reality.
Read a book.
Again, this is discrimination now from Sam Cedar. Discriminating against libertarians by asking him to exist in the real world and not just waffle on talking absolute shit. Honestly, you know what? This is anti-libertarian bigotry. That's what it is from Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare.
But philosophy applies to reality.
No. I don't want something that applies to reality. I want the description of why that happened, because clearly you have spent a lot of time thinking about this. So surely you have gone back. You just cited to me real things in history where you had disparate sources of money. And I'm asking you, why didn't you keep reading to see why it went away?
Again, bigotry against libertarians. He got the answer he wanted and he stopped reading, Sam. Okay? He got exactly what he wanted from that situation, which was the idea that it worked in these other places, and he didn't read any further than that. This is an outrage, what's taking place here. Hello, Eric the Red, how are you? I think I saw you in the Navarra media chat the other day, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. Anyway, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well.
Well, what I was about to say about the philosophy, I think might help explain it.
Then I don't want to hear about philosophy. Did you read the history or no?
Oh, you're over
I
from
read some
Navarra.
history,
Oh, nice.
including the history.
Welcome in.
And number one from YouTube. What I would like you to do is read that and then come back and summarize it for us.
All right.
Thanks,
that
man.
can be my homework.
Okay, appreciate
All
the
right.
call.
Thanks.
You should do a video.
It's very frustrating.
On your channel that you pimped out at the start, which, to be fair, I appreciate the hustle, but also your channel's probably dog shit because you're a libertarian.
I think, like when engaging with any right winger, whether it be a libertarian, when they refuse really to deal with the material facts in front of us,
Start
and
talking
then
about Daniel Defoe thought experiment.
Right. It's like this only makes sense when you completely strip the reality and context from everything you're talking about.
Yeah, let me open.
Where's 255 today? Is it too early for him? I don't know. I do miss him when he's not around. Was he in at all? I can't see him. No. Bless. Any chance of a gifty for Eric, by the way, who I see doesn't have the badge? If anyone's feeling particularly generous.
Point on this without looking into it at all, except for maybe some like broad like logic that people think I can help.
I mean,
decide history.
I am sympathetic with this because when I was in college and I would take a philosophy course, instead of like actually reading the different philosophers, I'd come up with my own philosophy and say like, I'm doing philosophy. It just happens to be Sam Cedar's philosophy, and my teacher go like, yeah, that's good, but that's not the question.
Yeah, you're supposed to be learning about this other shit. Yeah, it's a fair point from Sam Cedar's presumably now dead lecturer, because that would have been a long ass time. That would have been like the fucking 80s or some shit. I'm just saying.
The question wasn't what Sam thinks about this. I was asking you to read some Hegel and say, what was Hegel thinking about this? Or to read some Kant and say, what did Kant think?
You can't say Kant and not be like, that sounds like a rude word. You know it and I know it. Let's not beat around the bush, ironically. It sounds like a rude word. I'm just saying.
Think about this. It's nice that you have thoughts, Sam, but that's not relevant to what we're actually doing. That is sort of like our situation. Tim Pool's economics researcher. Also, David Graeber explicitly discusses this island barter fantasy in his History of Debt. It's called The Myth of the...
History of Debt. Okay, I'll look into that. Has he got an answer to Coconut Island? Oh, I can't wait.
Barter for a reason. Jobby Boonier. If I were on a tiny island with a few people, I would just work collectively and not have currency. And if anyone else on the island wanted to have a monetary system, I would smash their skull with a coconut.
We can't mention Coconut Island and not do the thing, can we? God, it's still a funny clip. Coconut Island debunked? What? No, where's the original clip? There we go.
How would that system not impose coercive measures on the workers of its society?
Wait, I'm saying a voluntary system. If it's voluntary, where's the coercion? Like, are you implying
Hello, four layers of strength.
Let me ask you a very...
Hello, 4 layers of strength. You should hit the follow button.
Let me ask you a basic question, okay?
I believe in you.
Let's say that you are on a plane, and that plane crash lands on an island, okay? There are only a few survivors. In fact, there are only 2. And you wake up after the first one does. By the time that you have woken up, the other survivor in this plane has claimed all of the coconuts on all of the coconut trees, stacked them on their pile, sheltered that pile with all the wreckage from the plane, and declared they own it. And they say that they would be willing to give you said coconuts if you throat their cock. Now, would you...
That's the ripper. That's the killer line. If you throat... Not suck a dick. No. Throat... It's still funny years later, man. It's still fucking funny. God damn.
Consider that to be a voluntary interaction. Is that a voluntary interaction?
Okay, so no, I'm actually no, no, Vosh.
By the way, you don't need to even go to the weird sex thing, right? There's an obvious example which I've used before, I think, of you're driving through the desert, and you're driving through the desert, so you've brought loads of water with you. You've got 100 bottles of water, right? More than enough to make the journey you're going on. You come across somebody that's dying of thirst in the desert, right? You're driving through the desert, and you could just give that person a bottle of water, and indeed drive them to a hospital, because that would be the decent human thing to do. But According to capitalism, which is all about the exchange of goods and services from two consenting parties, or two or more consenting parties. But it's also about maximising your profit. So you say to yourself, I'm going to sell this bottle of water to the person for $1 million. It's not worth $1 million. You paid $1 for it, right? You paid $1 for the bottle of water, but I'm going to sell it to this person for $1 million. Now that person, being that their choice is either die of thirst in the desert or pay $1 million and go into lifetime worth of debt for one bottle of water, will agree to that. That exchange is mutually beneficial. I want the $1 million more than I want the bottle of water, and that person needs the bottle of water, that's the point, more than they need the $1 million, which they don't have and would have to borrow or whatever anyway. Clearly, under capitalism, that's a perfectly reasonable exchange. But clearly, I've taken advantage of this person. Clearly, in a finite world with finite resources and basic human needs that need to be fulfilled in order for human life to continue, there are situations in which just saying it's a mutually beneficial exchange is not itself, does not mean it's a fair exchange, and does not mean that there's a realistic consent involved here, because the choice of die or pay a ridiculous amount of money for a very small product is clearly not right. It's not a moral thing to do. And none of that involved, having to suck a dick at all. So yeah.
Thank you for that. That's a great way of getting to the next fundamental, I think, misunderstanding here in terms of a definition of profit.
Amazing.
That we wouldn't need a currency anymore. Ian from the Northern Virginia, free market currency, LOL, asked the caller how crypto is working out. Well, crypto is working out as a commodity. It's just like it's a commodity.
Exactly, it's not a currency.
A way to get currency.
Well, and now it's in this stage.
Yeah, it's a way to get currency. It's not actually itself a currency.
It's a way to get the currency you can pay your taxes with.
Yeah, crypto doing well means it's doing...
Like, in theory, we still live in a technically a kind of barter economy, in the sense that you barter the amount of money you want to exchange for the goods and services you want to exchange. But the goods and services are not themselves currency. They're a way to get currency. And your currency is a way to get those goods and services. Like, yeah, it's a bit silly. You provided a valuable service for an agreed upon price. I don't see the problem. He paid it, so it's fair. That's the problem with the examples. Libertarians will own any monetary cost, but throat goat cost, kek W. Throat goat cost. 3 attempts it took me to say that. Fucking crikey.
Doing well in the value of dollars.
And then sometimes it's being like kind of imposed onto some of the poorest countries in the world by disaster capitalists who have like the only safe haven left is to exploit people whose currency is even more volatile than, like, say, Bitcoin right now. So it's not great.
Fart Wayne, not as good as his other calls, but I needed that. Thanks, Dan. Dave from Jamaica, I think that caller wasted his 3 years on an infertile island. Emma's distant cousin, it's been credited to Margaret Thatcher that the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money, to which I counter, the problem with privatizing everything is you run out of your own money a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Well, and also to Margaret Thatcher, the problem with pissing on Margaret Thatcher's grave is that eventually you run out of urine. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, shouldn't do it though, because you should. Can we get some lols in chat for Margaret Thatcher being very dude? Very, very dude.
John Motley, Sam's #1 Dan merch when? ? New dad, for what it's worth, actual island states, even when there's very few people, do in fact use fiat currency. LOL. Fizzy drinks. You know what it is, Emma? It's like the trolley problem.
Oh, right. Yes.
Swing state. Bummed to hear that we're not that into thought experiments, because I was about to call in with about 20 of them, mostly involved involving using pineapples for money. Daredevil, Dan Norton, I have a job for you. Teaching Alec Baldwin how to shoot blanks.
Jesus, man.
Libertarian caller should research the history of wildcat banks that propped up after Jackson dismantled the U.S. bank.
Right.
Nick from PA, Sam, please trade me coconuts.
Of course, yeah, the Confederates had to make the gray back.
Congressional baseball fan, Sam's legacy, Roman monetary theory. I think about it daily. It's from the Graeber book. Anthony Stoner. Oh, yes, just what I've been missing. Libertarian calling in to debate Sam on some nonsense or other.
He's the only one left, I think.
We should sell bags of shells and call them libertarian currency.
True.
Private money.
Yeah.
I'd buy
exactly. And we would sell it in another currency and then convert that currency into dollars. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
God, he's fucking handsome. Sorry. Anyway. I'm going to go to fucking bed, I think. No, it's too early to go to bed. It's food time, though, certainly. Yeah, this was a bit weird. We're going to be doing some other stuff with Kristi tomorrow. Yeah. Hello there, Shrike Valio. How are you? Yes, anyway. Yeah. Who's going on Twitch? Who is going on Twitch? It's a good question. Gremlo's going. I'm rarely finished early enough to go into Gremlo. So go and say hello to Grem, who is good people. I'll be back. Yeah, like I say, I'll be back tomorrow with Kristi. We'll have some dunking on Elon Musk, I think. I think we had something like that lined up. Kristi sent me shit, so we'll see. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Thank you for your support. And no passing around.